Well, good morning, everyone. It is so nice to be here in Whitley County. Like she said, this is my first time ever to this county, and really just to this little bit of an area. So I'm really excited to be here. Like she said, my name is Chapel, and before I tell you all why I'm obviously here, because I'm Miss Kentucky, I just want to share a little bit with you all about myself. I'm a college graduate. I graduated in 2022 from Belmont University down in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally from Bowling Green. I grew up on a small horse farm, also playing music for my whole entire life. I started violin when I was 3 years old, started theater when I was about 6, played the harp at age 8. My college degrees are in musical theater and corporate communication. I love to run. I love to go to coffee shops. And quite honestly, just kind of a normal person. But I started competing in the Miss Kentucky organization when I was 13 years old. I started competing in what's called the Miss Kentucky's teen category, which is for girls ages 13 to 17, and then continued on to be where I am today in the Miss category, which is for young women ages 18 to 28. I competed for the title of Miss Kentucky 4 times before I was actually able to secure the job. And Miss Kentucky is actually what I do every single day. This is my full-time job. It's a pretty neat opportunity. I'm employed by the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. That's who the Miss Kentucky organization partners with. And my full-time job is to be a spokesperson for Kentucky Proud and Kentucky Proud products. So every single day, I get to travel to a new area in the state of Kentucky. In fact, I was in western Kentucky yesterday, and I mean like far western Kentucky, past Paducah, almost to the edge of Kentucky, and then made my way over here today. I get to do school assemblies. I go on what's called our Mobile Science Activity Center, where elementary school students come and make science projects like Gloop, which is basically slime. Sometimes we make ice cream in a bucket, and then a lot of other projects too. But then I also get to do those fun, what I call Miss Kentucky things, like be in parades and go to fancy galas and dinners and pageants, all of those things. But this is my favorite part right here, just getting to speak to people, because you all are some of the most amazing people in the state of Kentucky. And it's my joy and my honor to get to meet you guys, but also just to talk to you all about a few things that I'm passionate about. So today we're going to have one main theme, one main idea, and that's going to be heroes or heroism. And there's 4 groups of heroes that I want to talk to you all about. First are our Kentucky Proud heroes, or our farmers. Second, I want to talk to you all about how you all can be heroes for your health, because this is really important nowadays. I also want to talk to you all about a group of heroes that's near and dear to my heart, which is our veterans and our United States military. And lastly, I actually want to teach how you can be superheroes. I know that sounds a little elementary, but I'm a big kid at heart. I like to have fun. And being a superhero is a really cool job. So, with all that being said, who's ready to get started? Awesome. Well, I brought something with me today. I thought I'd start by telling you all about a couple of things that we're pretty proud of here in the state of Kentucky. Where I come from, Bowling Green, we are home to the National Corvette Museum and Corvette plant, where every Corvette in the world has been made since 1984. We're also pretty proud of, things like basketball. But one of my personal favorites is bluegrass music. Who knew that we were the home to bluegrass music? I mean, we're called the Bluegrass State. Of course, we think that's all because of the actual grass, but like I said, I'm from Bowling Green, and in about an hour and a half west of Bowling Green, there's a little tiny town called Rosine, Kentucky. And that's actually where the father of bluegrass music was born. His name is Bill Monroe, and his house still stands there. But bluegrass music is actually the foundation for a lot of the modern country music that we listen to today. Now, a little quick side note, in January, another part of my job as Miss Kentucky, is that I get to compete at a pretty big competition called Miss America. Have you all heard of Miss America before? Awesome. Well, one of those things that I have to do on the Miss America stage is a talent. And my talent incorporates a lot of bluegrass music. So I wondered if today we could start out with a little bit of old-time bluegrass. What do you guys think? Thank you. Now, there were a couple of other genres thrown in there, but we're really proud of the bluegrass music that we have here in the state of Kentucky. Now, like I said, we're proud of a couple of other things. For example, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby. And of course, we're known for the one and only Kentucky Fried Chicken. But another thing that we take a lot of pride in here in the state of Kentucky is our agriculture. There are currently 250,000 jobs across our state that are provided by agriculture. And actually, 50% of the physical land in the state of Kentucky is dedicated to agricultural purposes. But what is agriculture? Can anybody tell me? Yeah. Yes, it's basically farming. So the raising of crops, growing animals, and how food is made. So, yes, agriculture is a really important part of to the state of Kentucky. But why is it important to each and every one of us? Can anybody tell me? Yeah, we got to eat. So, we need our farmers for that, right? Our farmers are the ones who raise cows, chickens, pigs, all of those animals that we receive products from, like beef, pork, bacon, chicken, eggs, that protein category that you all need for your nutrition. And you need that protein to make sure that your muscles grow stronger. Protein is like that fuel, like when you were putting gas in a car. Protein is what fuels your muscle growth. So, if you're trying to become stronger, you're lifting weights, you're exercising, that is one of the vital nutrients that you need. But you really just need it to survive because your muscles hold up your whole entire body. They support your bones. So, I mean, there's a couple of other food groups that you need to eat too, though. What might your parents tell you to eat? Your fruits and vegetables, right? Each fruit and vegetable has a specific purpose that it plays, kind of just like each and every one of us. We all have a different purpose, and the same thing is true about our fruits and vegetables. For example, have you all ever heard the phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Yeah, that's because apples support your immune system, that system in your body that prevents you from getting sick. But things like carrots might help your eyesight, right? Each and every fruit and vegetable provides a specific vitamin or nutrient that you need for your body to grow and develop. So really, not only are your farmers just growing your food, they're helping you guys grow, which I think is pretty cool. Our farmers are heroes, but they're also heroes for a lot of other reasons besides food. Agriculture is one of the #1 economic sources in the state of Kentucky. Can anybody tell me what the economy is besides something that your families might complain about? Thank you. I'm glad somebody got that. What is it? Anybody? It's money. It has to do with the money coming in and out of our state. Kentucky's agriculture is rooted in what we call cash crops. Can anybody tell me what a cash crop is? That's exactly it. Crops that are specifically designed to grow, sell, and make money for the state. So these are those crops that we sell in large quantities across the state, across the nation, and even across the globe. 2 cash crops that I want to talk to you all about today. The first one is yellow, starts with a C. Corn. We all eat corn, things like popcorn. But who else eats corn? Our animals, right? Goats, cows, chickens, sheep, pigs, all of those animals eat corn. It's used in corn, it's used in their feed. So, if we didn't feed our animals, would we be able to have the products that we need to eat? No. So agriculture kind of makes this big circle that all connects. But corn oil is actually used in a lot of things. For example, corn oil is used in makeup. So without agriculture, none of us could have put on makeup this morning. But the other cash crop I want to talk to you all about really quick is soybeans. Yeah, interesting choice, right? How many of you guys ate raw soybeans for breakfast? I know I didn't. But how many of y'all have eaten cereal before? How many of you maybe ate a breakfast bar? Has anybody eaten peanut butter recently? Or Nutella or chocolate? How about ranch dressing? Congratulations. All of those have soybeans in it. Every single one of them. A lot of times, companies will use soybeans and grind them up super duper tiny so they look like sand and put them in things like your high protein cereals and your breakfast bars because it's more cost effective for the company. We can grow soybeans a lot quicker than we can grow chickens and cows and pigs, right? And we can grow more of them. So, companies buy these in bulk. It's cheaper for them. And you're still getting that nutrient that you need. But soybean oil is also used in a lot of things like peanut butter, Nutella, ranch dressing, Chick-fil-A sauce. The list goes on and on and on, and even chocolate to give it that really creamy and smooth texture. But how many of you guys have a candle in your house? A lot of times, soybean oil is actually in those. It's combined with the wax. How many of you all have textbooks in your classroom? Soybean oil is actually used to make the ink that goes in textbooks, books, and newspapers. And how many of you all took a car or a bus to get to school today? Parts of the soybean plant are actually used to make rubber that goes on your tires, on your cars, and your buses that you took to get to school. So agriculture is all around you. It's in your food. It's in your house. It's in your classrooms. It's in your transportation. It's even in your entertainment. I mentioned earlier, something that we are known for here in the state of Kentucky, and we're pretty proud of. It's called the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Can anybody tell me what it is? The Kentucky Derby, and the other nickname is the Run for the Roses. Kentucky's home to 250,000 horses, and we are known as the horse capital of the world. The horse racing industry is one of the major economic boosters in the state of Kentucky. Play a game with me really quick. Imagine on Monday, you guys had $2 in your pocket. And then imagine by Sunday, you had $2 million in your pocket. Yeah, that's a huge jump in 1 week, right? On a much, much larger scale, that's the kind of jump that we see in 1 week from the beginning of the Kentucky Derby week to the end of it in the state of Kentucky. Because we have people who travel from all over the world to watch these horses run. So they come to the state of Kentucky and they're spending money on tickets, food, hotels, transportation, and clothes, amongst so many other things. And all of that money is staying right here in our state. But would any of that be possible without the horses that were running the race? No. Agriculture is in everything. It's even in your musical entertainment. You guys see my bow? That comes from a horse's tail. Yeah. It's one of the only things that's long enough to make my bow, and it's one of the only things that when I drag it across the strings, it creates the right amount of friction to make the sound come out of my violin. Agriculture is everywhere. We just have to open our eyes to see it. And so, our farmers really help our world go round, and we need to thank them. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the primary purposes of my job is to be a spokesperson for Kentucky Proud and Kentucky Proud products. Have you all ever heard of what Kentucky Proud is before? Just raise your hand if you have. It's a marketing program here in the state of Kentucky. And a Kentucky Proud product is anything that is grown, produced, or processed right here in our state. But this program allows money that we spend on Kentucky Proud products to stay with our farmers right here at home. So that way, they have the money and resources that they need to continue to provide us with the food and products that we use in our daily lives. So this is one of the best ways that we can give back, to say thank you to our farmers by supporting and buying their products. And it can be anything from fruits and vegetables to chicken, eggs, honey, ice cream, and lotions, soaps, so many other things. But there's this little label that says Kentucky Proud, and it has a red bird on it. Can anybody tell me what the red bird is? A cardinal, which is our state bird, right? It's going to have that little label on it. So that way we know that we're helping each other as Kentuckians. But Kentucky Proud products are also important for another reason. And that leads me to my second point today, which is how you guys can be heroes for your health. Kentucky Proud foods are what we call farm-to-table foods, meaning that they're not shipped all the way from California to the state of Kentucky and might have a lot of preservatives on them, right? Our farm-to-table foods don't have those. So it's actually healthier for you. And that's one way that you all can be heroes for your health, is by eating foods that don't have a lot of preservatives and aren't highly processed. Because when you put those chemicals into your body, like preservatives, sugars, added fats, added dyes, your body just kind of sits there, shrugs, and says, I don't know what to do with this. So it just sits there. It just sits inside of your body, and your body never fully absorbs it. But it also kind of gets in the way of your body absorbing all of those vital vitamins and nutrients that you guys need. So start focusing on eating farm to table, because 80% of your guys' health is determined by what you choose to eat. That's almost all of your health. It's just determined by your food choices. I find that pretty crazy because I always thought that it was exercise, but it's not. So when you eat these pure foods, you're helping your body. And it can do a lot of magical things. It really can. Now, if you can't eat specifically farm to table, I still encourage you to eat your fruits and vegetables and eat those pure proteins like chickens, eggs, ground beef, ground turkey, all of those kinds of things, instead of eating potato chips, ice cream, chocolate, sodas, and all of those products that are actually going to hurt your body in the long run. Because 20 years down the road, you're going to thank yourself for starting those healthy habits now. You begin with the end in mind to set yourself up for success in the future. Now, eating healthy does have a best friend, a dynamic duo. I mentioned it a second ago. Exercise. They are best friends. Exercise and eating healthy go hand in hand. Exercise is that extra little boost. But why is exercise important? Y'all, I can't talk today. Why is exercise important? Yeah. Burns off calories. That's a great example. It gets your body moving. It actually helps your mental health. And of course, most importantly, it helps your physical health. When you exercise, you are strengthening the most important muscle in your body, which is your heart. Why is your heart the most important muscle in your body? It's your motor, but what does it pump? Blood. You have blood running from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Everything in your body needs blood. So you've got to keep your heart as strong as possible to make sure that it's providing what the rest of your body needs. The American Heart Association recommends you exercise for 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Now, I spend 30 minutes on my phone. But if I just change that to 30 minutes of exercise, I'm helping my body. I'm also helping my mind. Because exercise actually releases this little thing called endorphins, which is a chemical inside of your brain. And endorphins boost your mood and make you happy. So, you're helping your heart, and you're helping your brain. But exercise can be fun. It really can. I love to run. I know not everybody likes to run. But exercise can be as simple as dancing around in your room, jump roping, playing your favorite sport, or just going on a walk. Whatever gets you up and gets you active and gets your heart rate up. Those can be considered exercise. But just like I've talked about putting the good things into your body and doing the right things for your body, it's important to keep the bad things out of your body, like smoking. Smoking is so detrimental to your all's health. Because, like I said, you're putting chemicals into your body that aren't supposed to be there. And then you have those chemicals, smoke, and tar, amongst other things too, clogging up your lungs. I'm not just talking about cigarettes here. I'm talking about any kind of smoking. Because your lungs provide what to your body? Oxygen. What else needs oxygen? Your heart and your brain. So if your lungs are clogged up, can they provide the oxygen that the rest of your body needs? No. Is it going to hurt the rest of your body? Yes. Not only does it physically hurt it, it causes addiction. If I start to lean on this microphone stand, and my body starts to tell me, oh, you need this to survive. You need this microphone stand to stand up. What happens if somebody takes this microphone stand away? You fall. Does it hurt when you fall? Yes. That same kind of trick is being played on your brain when you start smoking. Your body is adapting to something that it didn't need, and it is so much harder to quit than it is to never start. So, to save yourself time, money, and pain, I want to encourage you all to never start in the first place. Because 15 years down the road, it's going to be so much harder. And you might change your mind. But, all that being said, since we're on the topic of mental health, how many of y'all have heard of mental health before? I would say almost every hand in this room is about to go up. How many of you guys have seen Inside Out 2? Great, we've all had an introduction to mental health then. Mental health is being able to identify the emotions that have their hands on the control panel at headquarters and ask the questions, what am I going to do about it? But when it comes to mental health, we have to be a team. Raise your hand if you've ever felt sadness before. Anxiety, fear, anger, disgust. Look around. I've raised my hand for all of these. You guys, we've all experienced these emotions before, whether we admit it or not. We have. But that gives us this really unique ability to do what we call empathize with each other. Meaning you can feel and understand something that somebody else is going through. At least at an emotional level. You may not understand the whole entire situation or may not have exactly been through that circumstance before, but you can understand that feeling. And that allows us to become a team and a community. But when you're empathizing, if you see somebody having a bad day or struggling with an emotion, the best thing you guys can do is listen to each other. I say that for myself. Mike Papaw used to always say, we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We should always listen before we speak. And honestly, that's one of the best ways that we can help each other. Is just listen. We don't have to solve the problem. But just a listening ear can make all the difference. So I encourage you all to just listen to each other. And then as you listen, we can come up with a way to work through this together. But not only should we listen, after that listening, we do need to take action. And one of the biggest things that we can help each other is by being kind. I mean that from every single part of my being. Kindness can make all the difference in the world. As I travel across the state, I've had bad days. We all have bad days, days that are just hard. You're tired, you're hungry, you're exhausted, or maybe something just happened in your life. We all have those days. But you know what made all the difference for me? A hug, a smile. Somebody opened a door for me. Somebody said a kind word to me. Those are things that made the difference. And so, we have to be intentional with what words we say. We're going to play a game really quick. All right. Somebody say something mean that you could say to somebody. Okay, stop. Okay. I've crumpled up this perfectly beautiful piece of paper that was completely clean before it started. Not a wrinkle, perfectly white. Right? Now start saying things that you could say that are kind to somebody. Okay. Stop. Is this piece of paper perfect anymore? No, it got wrinkled. I can straighten it out as straight as possibly as I can, right? I can try and straighten it out so much, but it's never going to return to the way that it used to be. That's the same kind of effect that our words have on other people. They start to hurt people, and we can never go back to the way that we used to be before those words were said. So, we have to be careful about what we say to people, because we don't ever understand fully what somebody is going through. So I encourage you all to just be kind. If you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, don't say it at all. Don't say it online. Don't say it behind their back. Say the kind things that uplift your community. Because, y'all, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, and a lot of struggles that people are having. But each and every one of us can be a light to somebody. But if somebody's not being a light to you, you all can help yourselves. This is a little trick I want to teach you all called gratitude. How many of y'all have heard of gratitude before? What's it mean? What does gratitude mean? Being thankful. Did you all know that if you start your day by writing down 5 things that you're thankful for, you're more likely to have a better day? And if you make this a habit, you write something down, you write those 5 things down day after day after day after day, studies show that you're more likely to live longer. When I was a little girl, I loved to go on walks with my grandfather. And when I reached up to hold his hands, they weren't there. Instead, I grabbed onto 2 metal hooks that were due to an injury during World War II. My papa served in the United States Army, and his job was to pick up landmines and move them from here to over here so that the rest of his troop could get through safely. One day while my papa was doing this, that landmine exploded in his hands. He spent the next 1.5 years laying in a hospital bed. And the doctors amputated both of his arms and did so much surgery on his left leg that he could not bend it anymore. So in the course of a day, my papa went from being a perfectly healthy 22-year-old man to being what we qualify as a triple amputee, meaning he was missing 3 limbs. But my papa said that the day that injury happened was the luckiest day of his life because he lived. My papa could have been really angry about what happened to him. But instead of focusing on the things he didn't have, he focused on the life that he did. And every time my papa would see me, he would remind me to start each day with a grateful heart. So for 70 years, my papa lived with 2 hooks where his hand should have been and a leg that didn't work. But he lived to be 93 years old. I'm not saying that gratitude was everything that helped my papa live so long, but it was definitely a big part of it. Which leads me into my 3rd point that I want to talk to you guys about today. And that's our United States military and our veterans. How many of you all know what a veteran is? Awesome. Can somebody tell me? That's a great example. It is someone who has put their life on the line in the United States military specifically. One of the 6 branches, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, Air Force, Space Force, and we include a 7th, which is the National Guard. Raise your hand if you have a veteran in your family. Raise your hand if you have someone actively serving in the United States military in your family. Next time you all see your veteran or your military member, tell them that Miss Kentucky says thank you for your service. Because a veteran isn't just somebody who served in the military. They are someone who has said, I will put everything on hold at home to go and defend our nation, to fight for our nation. But is this nation, this land that I stand on right now? Seriously, I'm asking. Kind of. Our nation is each and every one of us in this room, more importantly. Right now in the state of Kentucky, we have 280,000 veterans. 280,000 people who have at some point said, I will risk everything to go and defend people that I may not even know. I wasn't born when my papa was fighting in World War II. But he fought to defend the freedom that we have today. The opportunity to be sitting in this room and to have the opportunities that we do have. And we've got 280,000 people across the state who have sacrificed something in some way. I could see my papa's physical injuries and what he sacrificed for this nation. But we can't see every single sacrifice and every single battle scar that someone who went to war has. So what do? We start by saying thank you. I told you our words mean a lot. And a simple thank you for your service can go a long way. But the other thing you guys can do is take action. It can be as simple as writing a holiday card and dropping it off at your local nursing home, because more than likely there's a veteran who lives there, taking it to your closest veterans organization, or taking it to a veterans clinic. That is something that somebody can physically hold on to that shows them that they are appreciated by someone they may not even know. That's huge. It may not seem like a big difference, but it is. You all are not too young to make a difference. Ever. And I don't want anyone to ever tell you that you are. Don't let someone tell you, oh, you're too young to do this. My violin is my talent. I've played this since I was about 4 years old. And I've gotten to take this violin across the state of Kentucky and play in nursing homes and veterans hospitals, and even create a CD to hand out to veterans as a form of music therapy, because I watched as music healed my papa. This violin is my talent. I've gotten to use it to make a difference. I also mentioned earlier I like to run. I've run 29 half marathons and 3 full marathons. And I've gotten to use these to raise money for a nonprofit organization called the Honor Flight Network. And this network sends veterans to Washington, D.C. for a day to see all of the memorials that were built in honor of them. I started doing this in high school. I ran my first half marathon when I was a freshman. You guys are not too young to make a difference. And each and every one of you in this room possesses a unique ability to be able to do that. Whether it be for our veterans, something else you're passionate about, or more importantly, just make a difference in the lives of each other. These are your superpowers, you guys. I know that sounds silly. My talent, plus my heart to serve others, equals my superpower. The violin is a superpower I have. Running is a superpower I have. Raise your hand if you play a sport. Raise your hand if you play a musical instrument, or if you sing, or if you dance, or if you do theater. Raise your hand if you're really smart, if you're gifted academically. Raise your hand if you like to draw or if you like to write. I've seen almost every hand in this room go up. And if you didn't raise your hand, you're either being shy or I just didn't say something. That doesn't mean that you don't have that talent or ability. We just have to find it. If you play a sport, you can use your superpower by mentoring kids who are younger than you, or just be a good, encouraging teammate. If you play a musical instrument, or if you sing, or if you dance, you can entertain people, and that brings so much joy. That's you using your superpower. If you're really smart, gifted academically, you can help people with their homework, and maybe you tutor students who are younger than you. That's you making a difference and using your superpower. And if you like to draw, or if you like to write, and you see someone having a bad day, you can draw them a picture, or maybe write them a note. Maybe make up a funny story for them. I had a student give me this the other day. Completely turned my day around. All of those little actions make a difference. And when you guys choose to help one person, that person may go help another person and another person and another person, and eventually you've helped your whole school. And your school can go out, can help your community. Your community can help your state can help your nation, and your nation can help your world. All because you chose to spark a chain reaction by using your superpower. It's pretty incredible. But before I go, I would like for us to review the 4 topics that we talked about today. Does anyone remember the first group of heroes we talked about? Our farmers, great job. What was the second topic we talked about? Our health, awesome. What was the third group of heroes we learned about today? Our veterans. And what was the last thing we just learned? That you guys are superheroes. Thank you all again so much for having me today. It has been an absolute joy and honor, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.